Welcome everybody. The Functional Medicine Centers here, Dr. Ben Galliard. We're going to go over autoimmune and how we're able to solve the autoimmune puzzle. So what does that mean? Well, autoimmune for the vast majority of people, for their different conditions, can be helped, can be repaired, and potentially can be reversed. So let's go over that today and give you guys some ideas, some applicable things that you can start doing today to get your health back, to start reversing your autoimmune, start calming down that immune inflammatory cascade. And for you and a loved one, let's get your life back. So if you haven't already, hey, Chris, good seeing you in Prescott. Go ahead and pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see where everybody's watching in from, all over the country, all over the world. We get lots of feedback, lots of good comments from people as well. So feel free to ask questions as we're going through this also. A lot of people, autoimmune is a big, scary unknown. And even for us as a practice, we probably see 25% of our patients come in with some type of autoimmune condition, and many of them have no idea that they actually are dealing with autoimmune. So 190 named autoimmune conditions out there, and that's a lot. And some of those, hopefully, I never see, because some are very, very devastating to the body. We know that there's autoimmune conditions. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. We know that there's autoimmune conditions like MS and rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and Crohn's and colitis and alopecia, where your hair falls out. All types of different ones, but there's a bunch that we've never heard of, and they're pretty dramatic. But autoimmune conditions are the third leading cause of death when you lump them all together. So when you say, okay, you know what? Autoimmune, it's bad. You know, some people, even like Hashimoto's, they'll never feel good, but they're not going to die from it. But when you lump all autoimmune conditions together, and I'm going to show you on the whiteboard today why we do that. Hey, Chris, they thought I had MS, but MRI didn't find anything supposedly, but they say I have one of, I can't see the rest of that one. So go, what are they telling you have? And I'll answer that question. So yeah, we see that all the time, Chris. We see people that have been told, hey, you have antibodies that are high, but we don't know what it is. Especially ANA is one of the most common antibodies that we see go up high, but you can't really diagnose any one autoimmune condition with that. A lot of people, it could be lupus, it could be scleroderma, Sjogren's, mixed connective tissue disorder. Hey Paula, good to see you down there in Yuma. You know, it really depends on the person, but ultimately we calm everything down. They don't have ANA anymore, and so this is what I'm talking about, Chris. They don't have ANA antibodies anymore, and their doctor's like, well, I don't know what it was, and they ask me, and I go, I don't know what it was either, but we calm down that immune response, and they don't have the antibodies anymore. So what do you have to do to get your autoimmune under control? And this is really that crucial point of working with everything that we talk about on this side. Is you've got to get your inflammation down, you got to get your immune system stabilized. So I like to draw how we look at this with this circle in the middle, and I put autoimmune in there. And autoimmune, it could be anything, and it doesn't matter, because most people that have one autoimmune, they have multiple autoimmune conditions. So what does that mean? Well, if somebody's got Hashimoto's, which 80% of low thyroid for women is actually Hashimoto's, there's a very good chance that they have other autoimmune conditions. So here's where we start. We say, what is going to be driving this immune inflammatory cascade? So it's going to be pushing that immune system to attack its own tissue. What's going to be driving that? What's going to be pushing that? So here's some thoughts as we go through there, and this is how somebody comes into the office and we're talking about autoimmune. I look at it this way, and I think, which one of these systems are out of balance? It's not going to be the same for everybody. So not everybody that comes in with MS, not everybody that comes in with Hashimoto's is actually going to get the same treatment. Most everyone's going to get a different treatment depending on which systems are out of balance. So this is the system approach that we do here at the Functional Medicine Center. So the first thing that I think about that could be driving someone's autoimmune is the adrenal glands, and a lot of times we see after a stressful event, give me a thumbs up if anybody believes in stress out there. What we see, stress is everywhere. Stress is rampant. It causes a lot of issues in the body, but with the adrenals, usually after a major stressful event, that's when that autoimmune can get revved up. So a death, a trauma, anything along those lines. So adrenals and the stress, we have to look at cortisol, DHEA, some different things through there. Then we look at blood sugar, and this is why I wrote my book last year, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie, because we know that every time the blood sugar goes up too high and down too low, it revs up that immune response and we actually destroy more tissue. So that is a major part of this process, is we've got to get that blood sugar stabilized. Good to see you out there, Rachel. Hope you're having a great day. We've got to get this blood sugar stabilized nice and consistent throughout the day, because we know every time it spikes and every time it crashes, you rev it up and you destroy more tissue. So we've got to stabilize that process there. What we also know is that blood sugar is the number one stressor to the adrenal glands. So every time that blood sugar crashes down, it's going to rev up that immune response, and we're going to get those adrenals cranking there. So we've got to get these stabilized through there. So anybody just jumping on, let me know where you're watching from. Love to give a shout out to everybody there. Another thing that we've talked a lot about, especially with COVID and some different things, is vitamin D. So vitamin D is going to be great for the immune system, but for autoimmune, it's going to modulate that immune response. So I like to think about this as a teeter-totter, and that we're going to actually rev it up at the right time and drop it down when it's supposed to as well. Because here's the problem with autoimmune, is that gets revved up and then it doesn't slow down. And so we're attacking through there, and that's a big part of the problem. So vitamin D, if somebody has autoimmune, we like them up at 80. So most labs say 30 is good enough, but we like people with autoimmune conditions all the way up at 80. Hey, Carlene, good to see you. Good, up there in Gillette. And vitamin D, we go on to estrogen. So if anybody is watching and they've got autoimmune or Hashimoto's, anything like that, let me know if it was after a pregnancy. And 9 times out of 10, if I ask a woman, she's got Hashimoto, she has multiple kids, I say, which kid did you feel worse after? And they always say 1, 2, 3, whatever number kid it is. And basically, estrogenic events are going to drive this autoimmune process. So last year, I found 3 teenage girls in 1 month with Hashimoto's, autoimmune thyroid. Why was that? Well, that immune system got revved up from this estrogenic event of going through that process. Paula, great, 90, but perfect there on that vitamin D, great job. So estrogenic events, going through puberty, going on birth control, having a baby, going through menopause, hormone replacement, all these different things. Hey, Cody, yeah, we can get to the mass question in a little bit. I'm going to stay on the autoimmune here, but it's a good segue into the next one. So a lot of times different infections will contribute to that. So like he was asking about bacterial pneumonia with wearing a mask. So a lot of different types of pathogens. It's okay, Cody, no worries. So a lot of different types of infections are going to be contributing to driving this immune response. So somebody gets West Nile. So a lot of people, the research is showing now Epstein-Barr is a driving force, which is the virus related to mono. So Epstein-Barr virus is the driving force for a lot of this autoimmune that's going on out there, and MS and all types of different things. So chronic bacterial or viral infections are going to drive this autoimmune reaction and cause a lot of issues there. So we've got to deal with infections. A lot of times that's down in the gut. We have to do kill off through there. Then we look at any type of environmental. So environmental is going to be, that could be moving into a moldy house, that could be dealing with any type of chemicals, pesticides, PCBs, dioxins, different things that in the work setting, a lot of different places. Environmental, that's going to drive up this immune inflammatory cascade. We look at what we call leaky gut. And leaky gut is going to be in that small intestine lining. We've talked about this a bunch before. I've got a video from a couple weeks ago where that small intestine lining is damaged, and we're bringing food, bringing toxins into the bloodstream too early and creating this immune inflammatory cascade. So it's revving up that immune response, and probably 95% of the people that we work on that have autoimmune, we've got to deal with that leaky gut. Check out some of our other videos. We've got more information on leaky gut through there. Everybody's favorite here, actually not, most people don't like giving up gluten, but gluten, especially some other food allergens can do it as well, but definitely gluten has been shown to drive this autoimmune reaction, especially for Hashimoto's, to the thyroid itself. So we've got to become aware of what foods are creating issues in the body. There's a lot of good ways to go about doing that. So we look at gluten and food allergens in there. We can go through step by step through this process and figure out where these other issues are. You can think about the liver, you can think about inflammation markers. All types of different things are going to contribute to your immune system going haywire and creating this immune inflammatory event that's going to start attacking your own tissue. So there is no magic bullet. There is no, if you look at the testimonial from last month of the lady that came in and she reversed her MS and she's got a full-time job now and doing great. There is no magic bullet to dealing with autoimmune or magic supplement. Unfortunately, we'd be selling that on late night TV, right? But what we have to do is first evaluate which one of these systems is out of balance. And then from there, we go through step by step by step. Hey, Virginia, good to see you out there in Kansas. We go step by step through this process and come up with solutions for each one of them. And that's how the body starts to change. That's how my mom reversed her MS. That's how we got patients off of methotrexate and healed up their rheumatoid arthritis and their lupus and all these different things. So definitely a lot to think about as you're going through autoimmune, but that's where we come into play, and we can take people step by step through this process. We have our office in Phoenix, Arizona, Fort Collins, Colorado. We work with patients all over the country. So if you're having a hard time working through these, we can give you some ideas and help you through that process. Otherwise, we've got tons of videos, YouTube, Facebook. Check everything out and learn as much as you possibly can, because autoimmune can be reversed. Autoimmune can get better. Autoimmune can stop damaging in the vast majority of people. So keep learning, keep educating, keep your body strong. And if you've got any questions at all, pop those down below. Like or share this with anybody that you know that's dealing with autoimmune. Share it on your page. A lot of people don't realize that autoimmune can actually get fixed and autoimmune can actually get better. Janet, good to see you there. Inflammation is huge. We've got to get that inflammation down. So keep working on it. Stay strong. And if you've got any questions, drop us a line. Take care, guys.